Hi everyone, Hola here again, giving you another video on how to use Jamboard for modeling. Okay, there's a lot of modeling in MyStar, so I'm going to show you how to take an image, and this way you can have the kids kind of write on it, and you can write on it and model together. If you have not seen the video, it's called it's on bubble mapping. I also went through how to use the Jamboard and how to put different images and different things in here. You're going to want to watch that first. If you already know how to use Jamboard and you feel pretty good about it, then you can move right along with me. So you can see I'm in a Jamboard, and I named it Modeling Jamboard, and it's empty. And I'm going to get an image that I want to do some different things with, right? So I have my other tab open to just Google here. And I'm going to go to my waffle, and I'm going to go to slides. Now, earlier, a colleague shared with me my star lesson, and I have it right here because it was already shared with me, so I'm going to click on it. And this is the picture that I want to put in my Jamboard so that I can draw on it and do some things with it, right? So I want this picture. So the easiest way to do this, since this picture has a bunch of different pieces, you don't want to copy paste all these pieces separately, is use the snippet function. And you can see I have my snippet function. Let me move this. My snippet function down here, and this is my taskbar snipping tool. So I use it all the time, so that's why I pinned it down here, so that way I could use it. Now, if you're looking for yours, if you have, now this is a PC, but I just go in here and type here to search snipping tool, and it comes up right there. See how it's a snipping tool app? With my mouse, if I right click, I can pin it to the taskbar. Now this says unpin because I already have it pinned. If I didn't, it would say pin to taskbar. If you plan on using this a lot, I recommend doing it because then it's right there. Pin to start will put it onto the main menu. If you know how to use Windows and Microsoft stuff, that'll pin it to there. But that is probably the best way to do it. If you don't plan on using it that much, just search every time you want it and it's fine. So I have it down here. Now what this will allow you to do is to snip anything on your screen. So I actually really like this because you can basically get any image you want, even off the internet, and copy paste it into something you need. So I'm going to click on that, and then it gives me this little box, and I'm going to click New, and then it gets gray, right? Which means I'm ready to snip. So I'm taking my mouse. You see how it's a little crosshairs? And I am going to go ahead and hold down my mouse and draw a box around the entire image that I want. Now at this point, I could also snip some of my screen if I wanted to too. It's up to you. So do that, and you see it goes up here. One little caveat, you see I had this box highlighted, this blue box. That's going to show up on there. The snippet tool does pretty much whatever's on your screen. If you don't like what it looks like I cut off a little bit here, and I don't like that box is blue. So I'm just going to exit out, and I'm going to do it again. So I'm going to click off of the box. Just go into this other one here. It looks like, oh, this has some trees. Okay. And I'm going to do it again. Press New. And I'm going to try to make sure I get the whole thing in this time. Okay, there we go. That looks better. Okay. So once you've done that, you have some options. Okay. If you go to File, you can save this, save as, if it's going to be something you're going to use often, and put it in your Google Drive. What I like to do sometimes is just do copy. Either one works. Okay. So if I go to copy, it's already made a copy of this in my clipboard, and I'm going to leave this up in case I need to go to it again. And I'm going to go up back to my Jamboard, and I'm going to click on my Jamboard. Okay. Sometimes it depends on the computer. Sometimes you right click and you can copy. Sometimes you have to use your keyboard. So Control V. Okay. So I just press Control V and it copies it. Control C cuts different images if you need to do that. So let's say I wanted to copy this. I could do Control C and copy it and paste it again if I want to. But so what I just showed you is just taking that. and just getting it from the snippet. Now, another option is there's the image, the add image. If I click that, I can actually upload an image from Google Drive. If I had saved this in there ahead of time, I can get it from there as well. So I'm going to click on this, and let's say I want it to be bigger, so I'm going to make it way big. Okay. Within reason. And let's see, move this up here. And yeah, so I've got it to the size I want it to be, I guess. You need to have this set up ahead of time before you're going to do the modeling with your kids, because you don't want to be doing all this while they're like watching. And obviously you can do this virtually. If you saw my other video, you could have this, you could be online with them in your virtual meeting for your classroom on Zoom or Meet, and you could have your screen shared. They need to have a copy of the link of this Jamboard so they can get in there too. And you have to have the sharing settings proper for them if you want them to be able to edit it. Watch my previous video if you do not know how to do this, okay? All right, so now the students are going to want to be drawing on this, okay? So let's say you want to show them what you want them to do. So if you go to the pen option and, you got a few colors here that you can do whatever. So, let's see, blue. Okay, so let's say you want to show transpiration. You want to show that the water's coming up out and the plants are releasing it, right? So I can take this arrow and do that and show that. I can write on there, or I can do a sticky note. Oops. Transpiration. And then I can put it right there. Okay, so that is something that you can do. You can also write it if you want, either way. There's a lot of different options of what you want to do. See how you have the key down here? So you can have students put their key with their colors. Like, let's say I go to highlighter. See how I've chosen the highlighter function and a different color. So see how I just color that in like that? So the highlighter very much looks like a highlighter. So maybe you want your students to color code their different arrows in their model. So you would tell them, okay, whatever colors you've picked, make sure that you tell me what you're using there, okay? So you can see I just selected the highlighter feature for that, and I can select another color. Be like, oh, okay, I want this one to be that. So you can see I just colored that one in, and that's that color. So you can do it that way. You can have students add your own images to there as well. So it depends on how you want to do the lesson. There's lots of different options. So you can also change to, you can show arrows like this. That's a little bit of a thicker arrow. There's also the paintbrush option. So you can see that makes a little bit of a different type of thing. It's up to you. And of course, erase will allow you to erase any of these options here as you want. Anything that you've drawn, the eraser function, okay? But if you want to, okay, so now that you've done some of that, how do we get this set up so that students can do lots of different models? Well, you can see I have multiple frames here, okay? And I can get as many frames as I want. So suggestion, use the arrow feature, click on the picture, and you can see that I've selected the picture, not the writing behind it, okay? And you can copy paste this. So Control V, okay, is gonna actually paste. So you can see I pressed Control V, and look here, showed up again. This was from the previous one that I got. So let's say I don't want that, I'll just delete it. Okay, but let's say I want to make multiple ones of these pictures so that students can draw them themselves. So I'm going to click on the empty frame, click on that, Control V. Here we go, got another picture. So I'm going to size this the way I want it, and you can just leave it like that until the students just size it the way they want it to, and they can move it around. So you can see I have this on a completely different frame. All right, so you can have completely different students working on this one at the same time that they're working on the other one. So if I want to go back to the frame, I just go to previous frame, there's that. If I want to see all of the frames, click this. So I can see these two frames here, and I can see these are blank. So you can switch in between any of the frames you want. Suggestion for how to do this, I recommend putting a sticky note that has the names, okay? So put the students' names there that are working on that frame, okay? Same thing with this one. Okay, however many students you want working in that group, put their names with a Post-it designated on each slide so they know which one they're supposed to be working with. Now, inevitably, this is a full collaboration here, okay, with this. You may get some naughty students that will go and edit, without anybody telling them they need to, because this is what students do, someone else's stuff. So-and-so deleted my stuff. Okay. That's unavoidable if you're going to be working in a collaboration like this. This is where you would need to step in and work on some different management things. If it's something that is something you don't want to deal with, make a different Jamboard for each group. Now, again, I said you can make as many Jamboards as you want. It's not a problem. It just takes a little longer. And you have to share, there's a different link for each Jamboard. You have to share each different Jamboard link with each particular group of students. And they are the only ones that have access to that Jamboard, if this is what you want to do. This will help avoid any issues between students editing other people's stuff. If you want it per student, then you're going to give a Jamboard for every single student. Okay, this can get problematic depending on how big your class is. This way that I'm showing you now with the different frames is probably the easiest way. However, it does open it up for students editing other students' stuff. So, pros and cons. I'll let you decide how you want to do that. Okay, if you don't know how to deal with the sharing settings, watch my previous video. Okay, you just got to go in here and you change the sharing settings. Again, remember, after each lesson, if you don't want them further editing, then you need to lock it. So put it back to restricted, so that way they can't mess with it until the next time you want to have class. Okay, so you can make other frames. So, Control V again, see, same picture. And I'm just, I can move this. So let's say you have a class of 30 kids and you want them in groups of 2, then you'll just make 15 different frames and have this picture on each frame. Have it set up ahead of time. So if that's what you want to do, copy paste this picture ahead of time on all those frames. Have their names already designated on each frame of the students that you want to be working together, and have it already there. And tell them when you go into the lesson, be like, okay, guys, we're going to work on our forested lot model. Go to this link, put it in your chat with whatever thing you're using, or email, or Google Classroom. Here is the link to the Jamboard. Find the frame that has your name on it and only work on that frame. And that would be the directive that you give to your students. Okay, again, pros and cons. You may get a little bit of weird with the kids messing with stuff. And of course, this all saves. And then after you're done, take it to restricted so they can't mess with it later. And then they will always have access to it as long as they have the link, so they can refer back to their models at any time. So I suggest you do put the link in Google Classroom, which is pretty easy to do. Just go to the share and do copy link, or you can see it's up here, and put it in Google Classroom and tell them, hey guys, we're going to be working in this Jamboard for this week, and put it in Google Classroom and tell them, hey, this is what we're working on. So whenever they want to work on it, you go to this link and there you go. Okay, just be real specific in Google Classroom when you tell them what it is. Like, instead of just modeling Jamboard, you're going to want to probably call it like, forested lot model, whatever day that you want to do. And maybe put some identifiers on there so the students know what they're supposed to be doing. That's just better that way. Okay. And yeah, that's pretty much how you're going to do modeling with Jamboard. And you can get any picture you want off the internet, or any model you want from any MyStar lesson. If you're going through a MyStar lesson online and you don't have a copy, like here, I have this shared with me. Let's say you don't have that, but you are able to get into the MyStar slides. Just do the snipping tool function that I told you before. Okay, you can see I still have it here. Okay, and snip any pictures you want out of your unit and then copy paste them into the Jamboard. That's probably the easiest way to do it. Okay, so hopefully this video was helpful and happy modeling.